Hello, and welcome to this introduction to Work Experience 2022 at Lavington School. I'm Ben Taylor, I'm Assistant Head, and I'm looking to see if we can organise this Work Experience programme for the dates that are on your screen. So, our aim is to get all our students to be involved in a preliminary work experience programme that will hopefully enrich them and give them a real opportunity to understand about the world at work. All right. So that's the outline really of this presentation, is to get you to think about what we're going to do, why we're going to do it, and how you can be involved. All right. So starting off, I love this quote from Catherine Whitehorn. Find out what you like doing best and get someone to pay you for doing it. Isn't that great? But I think in terms of our work experience, okay, we're looking to see if we can enthuse our students and give them those opportunities that are really, really crucial. So, a little bit of background: we've not done a full work experience program at Lavington for a number of years. However, we do feel it's important to establish it for a number of very good reasons, and these reasons are. Well, firstly, why is it important? Well, it can gain an insight into a career or a potential career you may do in the future. Okay, you will gain valuable skills in their development, such as things like teamwork, communication, and problem solving. And it will also add real value to your CV when you are applying for various roles in over the next couple of years. All right. It will give you potentially a positive reference from an employer and will also help you potentially find a part-time job and build contacts out of this. And importantly, over the next couple of years, towards the end of year 11, when you're applying for sixth form or college or later on to university, it's a real key aspect of your letter, a real key aspect of your personal statement and what you have learned and what you've done during your work experience. All right. So I really want you to take this work experience opportunity seriously, and to understand that actually all work experience is really valuable, no matter what field it is. And often it can be that actually students find out more about themselves through a work experience, what they don't want to do, as well as something that they actually do want to do. It's about displaying those professional skills that we expect, positive attitudes to work, being polite to the people around you and potential customers, to have the skills of being flexible and enthusiastic. All right, you need to be able to show initiative, the ability to think for yourself in the workplace and take on those responsibilities. All right, we expect you to show your reliability. Are you punctual? Do you turn up on time? Are you a good communicator as well? Can you talk to people effectively, or are you knowing that actually that's an area in which you struggle and perhaps therefore want to work in an area where you're not going to be communicating with lots of people? And it's about finding the level for you. All right. Are you going to get on well with others in a work placement, whether that's your immediate boss or co-workers? All right, and are you also going to be able to display skills that are really important, such as your numeracy skills if you're working in finance or retail, okay, or your computer skills that allow you to be able to develop things for the company or wherever you might be. All right. So the whys, really interestingly, in 2020, before the sort of lockdown really took hold, the youth voice census came up with these stats, and I think they're really powerful. All right, so 86% of young people surveyed felt that work experience helped them to make decisions about their futures, and that's a staggering number. And then equally as important, 45% said that actually having a lack of experience was a key barrier into gaining future employment. And those are really interesting, sort of figures that highlight the importance and the value of our work experience or having a work experience. All right, so a little bit more detail about what it is. All right, so obviously I've let you know that the week is the 27th of June through to the 1st of July. So it's one whole week in actual real life work environment. Here's the logistical aspects. We expect you to find your own placement so that you can find something that you are really, really involved in rather than us placing you into somewhere that perhaps you're not going to get the best experience out of. If for whatever reason you are unable to find a placement, okay, and it doesn't work out, your backup is to do a virtual work experience week, which will take place at school, and we'll be doing that. So if you don't find a placement, then you will be in school for that week. And I'm going to give you a little bit more detail as well about how to find your own placements and the kind of things we expect. All right. Just a couple of quotes now about some people who I've taught in a previous school and what they got out of it. I really like this. So one of them said, "Yeah, I went into this week really nervously, but by Tuesday, I really look forward to going to work every day. I really enjoyed handling the old documents, and my favourite was one bit that was signed from Elizabeth I. The best part was being treated like an adult for the week." And that was from someone who went to the Chippenham and Swindon History Centre. All right. I had another one on the other spectrum that was really wanted to be involved in the practical aspect, and they went to Stanley Park Sports Ground, and they said, "Well, I chose this because I really enjoy doing sport, but actually, I did some office work, and when I wasn't going into the primary schools to teach football, that was what I did, and I learned there's so much more to this business than just sport, and it's something they wanted to do when they got older. They really enjoyed the whole experience." And I got to know new people. And those are some really positive things. Those are the things we really want to give you the opportunities to have. All right. So a little bit more about the placement. So I've kind of compiled a database of different companies that are basically within a 30-mile radius. And these companies are companies that have taken students from other Wiltshire schools before. And I will give you access to that soon for those of you that are really struggling to have ideas about your own placement. But it's really important to understand that even though there is a list there, there's no guarantee they will actually take students this year due to the knock-on effects of COVID, or potentially they're just not at that place where they are taking work experience students. So often, what has been described in previous examples of good work experience has been students who find and source one themselves, often through people they know or some people that the family know, and into an experience going to be of good value. All right. So, on top of the actual physical work experience, potentially there are some other areas that can be really useful. So, in particular, there's been a huge rise in the virtual work experience that involves sort of doing live sort of webinars with people of certain industries. And there's a huge range of opportunities, and the benefits are we're not sort of limited by location. And there are some really good speakers and opportunities to do some sort of tasks that are set on that day. And I will send updates of the opportunities when they become available, because they might be things that you want to do in addition to your actual work experience week. And there's something else additionally. There's a really good company called sort of Careers Days, and they organise opportunities for people in a whole range of worlds. So if you're interested in medicine, law, business, dentistry, midwifery, sort of these are the areas that are often really difficult to have a placement in work experience. They are independent, and they're one-day courses that you might wish to look at out completely outside of your work experience week, but just off your own bat, you might think during the summer holidays, okay, or during a weekend that might be a real interest to you. You can sign up, and if you're interested in that, I will promote details on our website and through your PSHE classes and tutorials about how you can maybe go about accessing those if people are really, really keen. There's a wealth of good opportunities out there. All right, so just a reminder, what next for you? Okay, so now it's time for you to start the process of finding your own placement. All right, there are two key documents that you cannot go on a work experience without. All right, so these documents will be given to you during tutor time, and for parents, obviously, they'll be brought home. All right, and we need these forms returned about a month before the placement's going to start. So ideally the 27th of May, which gives us a few months in which to be able to source these placements and get everything completed. Now, it's really important that these documents are completed properly and signed by all the parties, so we're aware of exactly what's happening and people know where they're going and what they're doing and what the space is. So the documents themselves, if I pull it up, one of them looks like this. It's a health and safety checklist that has to go to all employers. And another document, which you won't be able to see because it's so small, is a more detailed document that talks a little bit about whether they've got employer's liability insurance, exactly where the details go. And we have a responsibility as a school to make sure and ensure that the placement is safe. All right, and people are aware of their responsibilities. All right, all companies are aware of this. Okay, and the health and safety executive have reduced the amount of red tape and bureaucracy that has gone behind work experience. It is a lot easier now to be able to find places, but the most important thing is that your child is safe and secure in that world. And we need to make sure that we have that by having these sort of checkpoints and balances that we must do. And that's our overriding responsibility, is to make sure students are safe. And you're going to be sending them out into the world of work that's going to be a safe environment. So those forms, we cannot let students go out without those. And that it's not just about covering ourselves, it's about making sure that the process is rigorous and everything is detailed. And those forms will come out through tutors. All right, and if there are any questions, students can come and see me directly, or you're more than welcome to email. So those are just some examples of the two forms that I'm going to need back by a particular date, which is the 27th of May. All right, and just the last couple of slides, sort of what you can do to help. So firstly, supporting your child is really important. So supporting them in their choice of placement, okay, and maybe help them make contact with their employers. All right, again, we'll talk in tutor time about letters of introduction and how we can go about that. Encourage them, but sometimes it can be really beneficial to try something different and refreshing. So that might be something to do. To make sure that we're on top of attendance and punctuality, and that they can actually get to their placement and communicate to the employer if they're unable to attend. Those things and having that relationship are really important, because obviously this is the first time Lavington are going to be doing a full work experience for the whole year group, and to be able to establish and cement positive relationships with companies is so important. You are going to be ambassadors for Lavington out in the world of work, and we really hope that you get really quality engagement and real quality experience, so that future year groups can then sort of follow in your footsteps. All right, but above all, parents, the most important thing is that paperwork, that the paperwork is completed and you make sure that you sign those things. And so, final slide from me, it's a plea actually. You may have gathered it's becoming increasingly more difficult to find employers who, for various reasons, are willing to take students on work placements. So if you're sitting there and you're able to help, please email me with your details, and we'll be able to have a conversation about potentially whether you're able to offer a spot for our students at Lavington. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm sure you will have lots of questions, most of which will be able to be answered by your tutor in school. But if you have other questions, then my email is on the end of this slide, and please feel free to email me regarding that. All right, thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to it being a really important and successful experience for your children. All right, take care. Bye-bye.